Welcome. Today we're beginning a new series, which I hope you'll enjoy. We will be airing twice a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and our show will be available on YouTube, Facebook, through our website, auburnfirstumc.org, and through a link on our Instagram for Reality Youth. You can watch anytime, and all of the episodes are less than 5 minutes. Our show is called Heretics, Hypocrites, Hogwash, and Hope, otherwise known as H4. It's all about stories that help us to understand the Christian faith in a new way through the lens of learning from the mistakes of the past. We will stare down the good and the bad and the ugly in the historic and the modern church and hold up a magnifying glass to see what truths come into focus. Once we see more clearly, we will have hope that we can move forward in the church and take it to a place of greater understanding, and give us the ability to change the church by changing the outlook from that of people being saved to being the beloved and hopeful examples of Christ on earth. So here we go. We're going to start with the story of Jesus, who was not a hypocrite, but was considered a major heretic in his time. Some of you might be wondering what a heretic is, so let's go over that quickly. The definition of heretic is someone whose opinions or practices are at odds with what is generally accepted. Can you think of anyone in your life like that? Well, I can tell you Jesus' picture should be next to that definition in the dictionary, because at the time of his life, he was something really different. And yet his kind of different caused people throughout history to look at their faith practices more carefully and call into question those beliefs that were not aligned with God's message to us. Let's look at some of the common beliefs of Jesus' time in his community. For instance, according to Jesus' contemporaries, you can only be loved by God and accepted by God if you made a sacrifice, if you were a man, if you did all of the religious rituals of the time perfectly, if you were not a tax collector or ill in any way, which would make you unclean, or, well, just about everyone except for the religious hierarchy of the time. In the Bible, which is the most commonly used reference, we see consistently that Jesus is not only interacting with these so-called unwashed and unworthy people, but was bringing them along on his journey to tell their stories and be part of the movement of change. Usually someone is branded a heretic by those who don't want to see that change happen. Because if things change, they will not be able to live their lives as they had before, and they might lose their high-ranking status or have to give up a comfortable routine. Either way, it has very little to do with doing what is best for everyone. Jesus came to help us see the bigger picture. Not that we're separate tribes of people, but we are one people, all created and beloved of God. Jesus consistently spoke of love and how to care for each other. Loving God, loving our neighbor, who we find out in a story is, well, everyone, and loving ourselves too. Jesus gave it as the greatest commandment, because if we have love and care for everyone, even our enemies, that's all we need. If we act out of love, then we aren't jealous or greedy or murderous or liars. We are love itself, just like God. Each episode, we will end with a moment of hope and an action item to work on that will help us to move forward. In this episode, your hope will come from your action item. Okay, here's what we're going to do. Think about the person you least love in the world and pray for them. Pray a prayer of hope for them, that you hope their life will reflect God's love. Pray that prayer every day for as many days as you like. At the end of the time, see how you feel about that person. Are you feeling compassion for them? That's a step toward love. We can change the church and the world together. See you next time.